you have to get everything together. Well, of course, it's just the same as the recipe that you make potato pancakes. You make it the very same way.
Want to sit down, Joe?
And I have, you can sit over there, Joe. And I have the recipe right here.
But you don't usually use a recipe, do you, when you
I
make
don't,
it?
but it's here.
Right, but you just tell us how you make it.
Well, that's how I make it.
First thing you do is what?
First thing I do is to peel the potatoes, cut them in quarters, put them in water, and then
What's the water do?
the water cleans the potatoes, or else it seems to take a little bit of the starch out of them, I guess. I don't know. You're supposed to put it in water. And then I put the grater onto the mixer, and I grate them.
Of course, you didn't used to have a mixer years ago, right?
Well, I always had a mixer. Ever
Always.
since I've known I've had a mixer.
Oh, yeah?
Come on, Mom.
What do you
There
mean?
wasn't electricity.
Not in my day. I've had electricity.
Well, we didn't have a mixer when we lived in Wilmerding. There was no electricity. We beat stuff
Oh,
by hand.
how can you say that?
Well, we didn't have an electric
Well,
thing. Why did we mix by hand?
We had
You and me and the maid, we whipped the egg whites for the
I don't remember.
for angel food cake by hand. There
I
was
don't
no
remember
electric
that,
mixer.
Ruth. I don't remember. I only know that
Well,
I
my
always...
arm still hurts.
Listen, you know what,
You did
Wendy?
that too.
She remembers the first time I hit her in my life. She
What
didn't
was it
forget the first time I whipped her or hit her.
What'd you do that for?
Whenever she didn't, listen, she always was headstrong. And when I would say do something, she'd say no. Well, then what could I do with her? I had to give her a slap. Well, she hasn't forgotten the first slap.
What was it for, Mom?
She knows
Oh, I
everything.
don't remember what
Oh,
it was
you only
for.
remember it. You don't remember
She
the...
I
remembers.
don't remember what for. I only remember the getting hit. Lost a tooth. Knocked the tooth out.
That's what she says, but it isn't
Mama,
true.
is it all right if your modern grandchildren
Yes.
make it with the skins on the potatoes? Because they don't peel potatoes. They like the skin on.
Yeah, I don't think we can put that in the mixer.
Oh, of course you can.
No, we're not with skins on. No.
Wendy does it all the time.
That wouldn't be good. No.
Mama, what do you grate them with? You have an electric grater?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. Part of the KitchenAid, right?
Yeah, part of the kitchen, down the bottom, there's a grater, right there. That's it.
Does it work?
Oh, of course it works.
Should I use one of these knives?
What there?
I need a knife. Should I take one of these?
Yes.
Anything is
I guess I ought to come over and see what the
Now,
workers are
Look
doing.
at the condition of this grater. It is well used.
Okay.
well, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong with it.
It's all bent, out of shape.
Listen, do you have a paring knife there to do
Yes.
with the potatoes?
Let me see what you're doing
I
there.
don't think he has a paring knife. That little one, that second one over.
If you
is-
don't use the right knife, Al, she'll never forgive
No,
you.
but it's not, it's hard to
This
do
is
it
not-
with that knife.
There's a
With
smaller
the
one
other
you mean?
knife, you scrape it. No, not that one.
Oh, well, I'm not peeling it. I'm just cutting. I'm just cutting the bad spots out.
But you have to peel them.
No,
I'll peel them.
make them with
No,
skin
I'll
on.
peel them, but give me a chance. First, I'm washing them and taking out the bad spots.
We can do it with the skins on.
All the vitamins are under the skin, Grandma.
I never made them with skins on.
Well, that's your.
That's why you're not going to live to be this very
I
old.
don't know how to do them with skins on, and that's one thing I'll tell you. Now, you see, you put that into the mixer.
I think that we should move the stuff over here so we
Make
can
it
see better.
Here, another thing, Ruth, take out the pan.
Your Mom?
No, I don't
Oh,
put
it's
onion.
much
in
You
mine.
don't put onion in?
But you can put onion if you
It's
want it.
so much better.
Here, we came to see how she makes it. We're
So-
telling her how we make it.
All right, now this
You
knife.
just have to cut them so they'll fit into the grater.
Look, this
That's
thing.
all
They're just in pieces, they don't need to be too
This
small.
These are the pans you wanna use?
I can't even get it to hold. This belongs in here. It's in the wrong place. Came out. It's unscrewed. What are you talking
All right, now put it in there.
about? But that doesn't belong on here.
What does
Did
it
you
belong?
get it in the whole way? That's not in the whole way.
When was the last time you made this stuff?
I think her mixer has had.
No, Ruth. See, that's the trouble, you know, when somebody else goes to do your
Well,
stuff.
How are you gonna do it? How are you gonna do it when it won't fit in?
It fits in because I've used it and it fits in.
And maybe that's why it's all chewed up, because you didn't get it fitted in right.
Come on now.
Well,
You
We're
see,
cooking, not fighting.
it is. Screwdriver, hammer,
Yeah.
pushing it in. There's a sleeve here, a ring that came out.
well, there used to be a rib around here.
Right,
Now
it's
the
on
rib
here.
came off.
It's on here. See, it's this
No,
way.
it isn't. It's gone. The rim's
That's
gone that was on there.
No,
This
it's
isn't the rim.
attached to the wrong thing, Mom.
Oh yeah, I recognize it
She
now.
doesn't, when I tell it to her, she says it's not true.
Well,
By her, it's not true when I
You're
tell
not
her
supposed to
everything.
fight ever, let alone on Yom Kippur.
See, this does not belong on this. It
Now you take the
belongs in-
hammer, just mash the potatoes up with the hammer.
oh boy, Steve.
Oh, I see, that's what, see, it belongs on
Yeah.
here. Do you think it'll stay on there? It won't stay on here, so maybe you're right. Okay, he's fixing it.
That's why.
What else could we make?
One side.
This
They're
size?
different
Yeah,
sizes.
that's about the
That's
size.
good, that's-
I think that's about the size.
That's too, those are too big, those pieces are too big.
Why, Mom? I'll eat them.
Now listen, I have a finer grater in there too.
Well,
Whatever you say, I don't want to argue about it.
that's the biggest one,
No, that isn't the biggest. I have a bigger one.
but that's much bigger than what your
But you
now
could make it
what?
with any, you could cut the potatoes up yourself with a knife if
Now
you
listen,
wanted
there's
to.
another grater down there if you want a smaller one. It's up to you. There's
You
a
know,
smaller.
they won't come out.
There's a
They
smaller
won't be
one.
cooked through, that's the
There's
Cook
a
'em a little
smaller,
bit longer.
there's a smaller one there.
This is about the size of this one.
Okay, now you want to put that down on a flat surface and grate it on a plate or something.
To cook, Joel?
In a bowl. What else?
Do you want onion in it or not?
Yes, put a little onion in it.
Where's your
It's
onion?
good. Huh?
Where is
Right
it?
down the bottom in the drawer. The bottom. Okay, an onion.
An onion. If we weren't here and you were making it, Grandma,
Well, that's how I would make it.
that's all you do. You
But-
just grate the potatoes,
Grate the
grate some
potatoes.
onion,
And put onion, a little onion and pepper, salt and pepper, an egg.
1 egg.
No, more than one egg.
Well, I guess it depends
A
how much
couple
you're
of eggs.
making.
It depends on how many potatoes you have. But I like egg in it, so I put 2 eggs in it. And a little baking powder and a little bit of mozzarella I use. But if you want to use flour, you can use flour. It's all the same. And then you mix that all up and you butter these dishes real good with butter on the bottom,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't stick. And then you fill these little cups with the stuff, put it in the oven at 400 degrees and cook and bake it. It's supposed to be done in 30 minutes. What does it say? Oh, in the oven, 400 degrees for 15 minutes, it says here. But
That
it
doesn't
might
seem
not
long
be done
enough.
good. No, that doesn't seem long enough to me. So that's what we'll do. We'll put it in the oven and let it bake. And I like to put a little butter on top of it while it's baking.
Mhm.
And that's it, and it's done. And you take them out, and then I eat them. You eat it with sour cream.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And applesauce too would be good.
Applesauce. I made a lot of applesauce with those apples you gave me. I have a lot of applesauce. I left some out in the refrigerator, and I put some in the freezer. Because I have a lot, then I have a lot of applesauce.
You wanna do this?
No, I don't want to do any of it.
I don't think Mom does either.
That's it, you see. And I tell you, when I have been making it, my girl's been making it for me. She does the whole thing from different cooks who did the baking on television.
Television wasn't invented till Wendy was born. So you must have done something before television.
Well, could be. Could be, but those things I hardly remember, Ruth. It comes
Yeah, but those are the habits that you live by. You're not living by.
Didn't your mother teach you how to cook?
Not a thing. My mother didn't want me to cook. She said my hands were too nice to do any cooking or
See those hands.
bad things.
Or wash dishes.
Or wash dishes. No, I couldn't do that. And she wasn't going to teach me to cook because she didn't want me to cook. She wanted me to marry a rich man who would have a cook for me. But I made a mistake.
So you just learned how to cook after you got married?
Yes, absolutely. When I got married, I said to my husband, you know, I don't know how to cook anything. He said, oh, you don't have to. But it wasn't true.
What, did he take you out for dinner all the time?
He said you don't have to, but I had to cook. What do you mean?
Plus, he
After
was used to
dinner-
a different kind of food than you. Well, of course, his mother had been dead a long time, so he
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
used to home cooking
No,
anyway.
he wasn't used to home cooking, but he was in boarding house, so. Ruth, did you get the baking powder out? It's in there in the cupboard. And, so anyhow.
You need any matzo meal, by the way?
I have matzo meal that you gave me before. Don't you think it's getting too old?
I keep it in the refrigerator.
I do keep it in the refrigerator.
And it's what can get old about it.
Well, maybe I should still keep it. I thought maybe it's getting too
No,
old.
I use it.
Well, I use it all the time. I'd rather use that than flour. I use it for breading or for anything that I need it for. Well, how's cooking, Alan?
Doing pretty well. Getting hungry.
Listen, you know that Steffi's husband is a cook. Mark, he's a cook. He loves to cook. So I was telling him I was watching Julia Childs cook and everything. He says, that's what I should be doing. Now, do you want a little measuring spoon?
Now you're the cook on TV that we're all going
Okay. Little baking powder. What does that do? Makes it brown?
No,
Baking
no.
Puffs it up.
powder loves to
It's
puff up.
leavening. The eggs in the baking
That's right,
powder
that's
is
right.
leavening.
And you're going to use 2 eggs, Ruth?
Is that enough? Well, you'll
think
see
so.
how.
I think so. We're not making a whole lot. Let me see what Joel's doing.
See how much there is, and then you'll see how many eggs you want to use.
You're still grating
The
potatoes.
purpose of the
Oh, and you
flour.
peeled the potatoes after all, huh?
Well, that's what his grandmother
Oh,
said.
I wouldn't like them if they weren't peeled.
Oh, they're good. They,
No.
they make everything like that. The only thing I don't like the skins in is mashed potatoes.
That's good to have.
But
I don't
I
like mashed
don't think I'd
potatoes,
like them
period.
in pudding. I wouldn't like them
I like
in
it better
pudding.
with
You
skin.
wouldn't know the
You
difference.
wouldn't
It's
know the
dark.
difference.
I've never done it.
The reason I put flour in is to absorb whatever moisture there is.
Well, that's what the
Flour,
matzo meal
yeah,
is
that's
for.
why you put, well, so the same thing with the matzo meal. It absorbs the moisture.
But it's not as fine a texture.
Well, whatever
Gives
you
it a
want.
different texture.
Whatever you want to do.
But, did you put butter in the mix?
No.
No shortening at all in
No
the mix?
shortening in the
Just on
mix.
top a little bit.
No, but lots of butter. I
Lots
put
of salt and
butter
pepper.
in the pans that they're cooked in.
Do you grate the onion?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And then
Well,
you
it-
cry.
So I'll tell you something. I learned how to cook slowly. Of course, I had to learn to boil water. And then my friend said to me, if you want a chicken, you call my butcher. He'll fix the chicken for you perfectly. All you'll have to do is take it out of the package and cook it. I said, okay, because I didn't know anything about a chicken or what you do with a chicken. Well, sure enough, I got the chicken, and it wasn't even opened. And I was furious, but the butcher lived so far away, what could I do? I had to get out my
Where is
cookbook.
this in Montreal?
Yes, I got out my cookbook, and I did from the cookbook. I learned from the cookbook how to cut the chicken apart and what to do with it. And that's how I learned to cook. And that's how I cooked the chicken. It must have been terrible. But that's how I did, and that's how I learned to cook after I was married. I couldn't cook a thing. My mother didn't want to teach me to cook. She said, I
Did you
wasn't-
like to cook?
Well, I did like to cook, yes. When I had a family, or my husband, even my husband, he liked food, and I liked to cook, because it pleased him when I cooked, but it never suited him exactly, because it wasn't as good as his aunt cooked. Now, he didn't remember much about his mother's cooking, but he remembered his aunt and his grandmother, how they cooked. And my cooking wasn't exactly like they did, but it was fair, and he put up with it. And so
If
that's...
I remember Grandpa correctly, he ate just about a lot of things that you put on the table. Oh, he didn't like
No,
gourmet stuff. That's
No,
true.
he never ate anything I put on the table. He only ate what what he was used to eating. And that was potatoes, meat and potatoes. That
Could you
was-
cook Hungarian style?
I tried, but it never was perfect. I tried to cook Hungarian style. It wasn't like his grandmother cooked, and it wasn't perfect.
Well, we don't cook like our grandmother cooked either. And they don't cook like their grandmother cooked, but they want to learn.
And today I don't cook like I used to cook. I cook different today than the way I used to cook.
Well, they want to know about how you used to.
See, and when I had the little kids, of course, I cooked the way they would like it.
Yeah, little kids are just as fussy as anybody.
Well, Buddy never ate anything that wasn't, oh, he was the pickiest eater of all.
Butter and jelly.
And Ruthie was no, not butter and jelly. What did he? Butter,
he
peanut
went-
butter.
He went through college on ice cream. He ate
Ice cream.
half a gallon of ice cream.
Not
at a
college,
sitting.
through
In
the
college.
Navy.
Now, when he was up at Cornell.
Yeah, when he was at Cornell, that's right, he was in the Navy. And he said when he went down for breakfast and he smelled the fish, that was enough. He didn't need anything to eat after that. So he would just eat ice cream and what he could buy. He didn't eat the food. That was Buddy. Ruthie was second. She was the biggest picky eater of Eddie. It didn't suit her too often. But Milton, poor Milton, he ate anything.
laughing at me, don't you? But tell
Milton.
things about me like that.
Milton ate everything, no matter what, poor Milton. So that's the way it was. But I don't cook today like I used to cook.
Well, we want to know about used to, what you
I used to cook and I used to bake and I used to enjoy it because the kids loved it. They liked the baked stuff, and especially Buddy. He loved the baked stuff.
And listen, when I was in high school, the whole crowd walked up the hill and stopped at our house after school. And my mother had baked good nut rolls and beautiful pastries. You know,
That's what you did all
European
day.
style. No,
Not
she did
beautiful.
them.
Grandma,
And then she,
greatest too?
yes. And
I'm glad
and
he's
she-
here because that grading is a job. That's the biggest job. I want you to know he's doing the biggest job because the grading is the
He
biggest.
also will eat the most, Mom.
There won't be that much.
Anyhow, after high school, we would stop, and my mother had gone to work. She did her shopping and cooking in the morning early and left to go to work. And when we came home, the whole crowd came in, and they loved those pastries and things. And we would roll up the rugs. We didn't have wall-to-wall carpeting. We rolled up the rugs and danced and ate up all the goodies that Mom had cooked.
Well, you weren't working then.
Yes,
Yes, I was working. I went to the store every day. That was, you see, Wendy, my life has been in 30s. My first 30 years was not too good. My second
Wait,
30,
why wasn't your first 30 too good?
well, the first 30 years I grew up and then
Are you saying you had an unhappy childhood?
no, I didn't have an unhappy childhood. It was a good childhood, but it wasn't too easy. It's all right.
Joel's crying now.
So that was the first 30 years, and then I got married, and I had the 3 children. By the time I was 31, I had the 3rd child. See, so that's the first 30 years.
In a nutshell.
Yes. I had the 3 children until I was 31. And then I had lots of problems. Then after 31, it was a little better. Things were a little better. I went to work every day with my husband and tried to make a living.
I was in the store. Explain to her where he went to
Yeah.
Well, I know where she worked.
Yeah,
In
but
the
you wanted
store,
to
of
say-
course in the store. My husband had this little store, and I used to help him. And of course, till the children grew a little older, of course, Ruthie was the oldest. She was in school. The little ones were both born in Wilmerding. The 2 boys were both born while I lived in Wilmerding. And they went to school there. And then, when Ruthie was 13 or 14, her grandfather said, "You can't live like this in Wilmerding," and her aunt Hannah said, if you stay in Wilmerding, she's going to marry an Italian boy. And she said, you have to move out of Wilmerding. You have to get away from this. So we moved to Squirrel Hill. But the store was still in Wilmerding. And I had to travel every day from Squirrel Hill to Wilmerding. So I would do my cooking.
What was it, about 20 miles?
Yeah, but it was
bus.
by streetcar.
Two streetcars I had to take. One from here to Wilkinsburg.
Well, Grandpa would drive down first, or?
Oh, he would drive in the morning with the car. I didn't drive the car. He'd go in the morning in the car. Then I would go at noon.
What did you do in the morning? That's
I
when you
would
would
cook.
bake.
I would cook and I would shop and I would arrange everything in the morning. And then I would leave I took a bus to Wilkinsburg, and then changed in Wilkinsburg to a bus going to Wilmerding. 2 buses. And then I would stay till we closed at 6 o'clock, whenever 6 o'clock.
And you'd come home?
I'd come home with him in the car.
Yeah. And the kids would already be home from school.
Oh, the kids would be on. I used to have
And
a
so
maid.
then, you had a maid.
I had
We
a
had
maid.
lived in Maine for
Oh,
11
I was
years.
going to say, so who made dinner at
She
6
lived with
o'clock?
us for 11 years, Wendy.
Oh, I had one maid for 7 and one for more than that.
11. Frances was with us for 11 years, and then Mildred.
So you'd come home at 6 o'clock and Francis or Mildred would have dinner on the table for you?
No, well,
Yes, sure. It was
You know.
all cooked.
almost, yes.
And did the kids have to do chores?
No, the kids didn't have anything to do.
Boy, they didn't have to do anything?
The kids,
Yeah.
what should they have to do?
We did our homework.
They did their homework, they went to school,
We ate.
they ate, they
You-
came home,
you
they
cleaned
ate.
up after dinner and washed dishes?
No, I had a maid.
They did everything?
I had a
The
maid.
maid did everything?
The
Yes.
maid lived in. She was thrilled to have a home and a mother.
She made the beds?
And,
Oh, did the washing and the ironing and the cooking
and the
and,
cleaning.
and the cleaning.
And believe me, the cleaning in those days was not like what it was today.
And
or
I'll
the
tell you
washing
something,
and
my
ironing.
father-in-law would come and live with me off and on, and he objected because the maid didn't wear a uniform.
Yeah, she wasn't
He
a-
wanted her to wear a uniform. The poor thing, she was too busy. She didn't have time to put a uniform on.
Now that Joel's done, we fixed it.
He
Well,
fixed
they
it, Mom.
Oh,
Alan
see.
fixed your grater, your electric.
See that, Alan, I have to
Take
go.
the grater off and
Doesn't
show
matter
it.
because Joel finished anyway.
Yeah, but
You
take,
just bring Joel over anytime you need.
Oh, wait a minute, what do
he
you mean?
fixed that rim.
I want to see what you did, Alan.
This was bent, it wouldn't go on.
Oh, and you put it back on. You see, my maid pulled that off.
It's
And
all right.
it could
it
never
got-
go back
It
on.
got old and worn out.
It was
She
bent.
pulled it off because
Now
it was
listen,
no
Right.
road.
this is only about 50 years old. Now how can you say it's old?
All right, but don't blame it on the maid because it wasn't her fault. The thing deteriorated.
No, it never did. It's only 50 years old. How could it deteriorate? It's a good mixer. It's a good thing.
Look, you're making Joel cry. From the onions.
Listen, Alan, that's great. How could you do that, Alan?
He's smart.
he's a genius.
Oh.
He got
Yeah,
800 on his
Joel.
college board and
Now,
a
listen.
hammer.
Now that's wonderful, Alan. I didn't know what to do. And after all, the thing is
I don't
only.
know how you got tape in there. Somebody put a lot of tape in there to hold it.
You see, and that's what was
Alan, you
sticking.
know what?
No, it's bent.
This thing it's only about, oh God, I don't think it's 50 years old. Really.
No, well, when did I get my first one? We got them together.
Now, see, I don't know, you'll have to figure
So
it
you
out.
ought to get a Cuisinart, Grandma, if you want to be thoroughly up to date.
That's a wonderful thing you did there. I have to give you a kiss.
That's all right.
That's
Well,
what
Joel
I,
did all the grading, so should we put some muck meal on?
wait a minute, how did you look? It's
Kind of
just-
mushy.
Oh, it's a little bit, it's not much.
We don't want much.
Listen, put in a tablespoon.
Should I measure or
No,
can I
you
go
don't
by?
need measure. Put it in.
Mom, you're allowed to sit down. He'll
Well,
show it to you.
he's allowed to put in too much.
No way.
Here.
So now,
And 2
now
eggs?
listen.
Mama, I put hot seasonings on the chicken. Here, sit down.
Yeah.
And I said, was it too much? And they said, but they didn't taste any. I didn't put enough.
Listen, the soup didn't have enough salt in
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Wait a minute, listen to this.
So a teaspoon of baking powder?
Yeah, I think so. Well, listen, this is great fun. Do you know it? It's a lot of fun for me because I'm not doing the work.
when I keep telling you
You're
that,
being the
you
boss.
argue with me.
The boss gets paid the most.
Should we take a peek in here?
Doesn't look like much yet. We need some food coloring in it.
No.
I'm just kidding.
What's Look, he can't even open the,
It isn't open big enough. He wants more.
No, I'm closing it. I wanted to.
Alan,
back to
thank
that
you for
thing.
fixing my mixer. You know, the girl pulled
Well,
that off and
yeah,
we could
thanks.
never put it back on.
I couldn't do it.
1 egg.
I tried. 2 eggs.
At least 2 eggs, let's see how. You see this ring? When we were engaged and he gave me my engagement ring, I wasn't too thrilled with it. It was all right. But after we were engaged, he said to me, I have another. I'm going to give you another ring. And he couldn't give me enough rings after that.
I
And
thought
he
this was
gave-
a stick pin.
It was a stick pin. It was his stick pin. And he took it and made it into a ring.
It was originally an opal.
And he made it into a ring for me, and I thought it was gorgeous. And every one of my nieces wanted it so badly. They all wanted this ring.
What do you mean it was originally an opal?
It was an opal
In
stone.
where the
Where the ruby is now.
yeah. But he thought it was bad luck.
Oh, right, I heard
So
of
he
that.
took the opal out and he had the ruby put in. So every one of my nieces wanted this ring, and I said, no, I can't do that. Can't give you it. It's for Ruthie, maybe. Maybe. I wasn't sure I was going to give it to her.
She might still take it back.
But when she graduated from college and I didn't have a dime, I didn't have anything to buy her a nice present. I said, Ruth, here, I'll give you this ring for graduation. And then I gave it to her. But, so that's it. So it's hers. But you know, I always loved that ring.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
all
nice.
of you kids' teeth died. I want you to
Is
know.
that right? Will you not stand on my cord, please? Thank you.
All right, who's going to mix
So
up?
should we mix it on the
Now
electric
let's see
mixer?
how it
No,
is. No,
just
no.
mix it with a
Mix
spoon.
it with a
Where
spoon
is
here,
it?
a big spoon.
We could let Joel mix it
I
since
think
he's
this
got
big
the...
spoon's too big for that little bit.
He had the training this morning on
So you
TV.
have to have only one of these spoons. No, not that. Here, isn't there a spoon back here?
Well, if you get your hand out, it's fine.
There, that's it.
That's a
it, Joe.
spoon.
Now mix it up good and put salt and pepper in there.
Do you want to measure the salt and pepper in? Mom?
No, I don't want to measure it.
Now, I want you to see those cakes now.
I used to
That's
have
all
dishes
that's
like
left
that.
from the fiesta ware that I
Now
had.
see, Ruth, if I hadn't saved it all these years, you wouldn't have had it.
You think?
Yes. I'm the one who saved it. Now she says it's an antique and this and that, but she would have thrown it out.
Oh,
No, never. You haven't seen all the stuff she's got, Grandma?
They're going crazy trying to empty my house.
Let's see how this stuff
Now
looks.
listen, you have to put on the oven.
The oven's on.
Oh, it is good. That's good. Feels good too. Now
Pepper?
see how that
Salt and
makes-
pepper from the antique fiesta ware? Of course, you can use a
Oh.
plain old salt shaker.
I
if you
have
want.
it, the salt and pepper in here. I don't use that.
Yeah, you really need more than is going to come out of this.
Salt.
Here. There was salt. In there is salt. Salt
It's gonna
and
be
pepper.
plenty
Let's see what's in
And I
Grandma's
think
cupboard.
this now, and I've changed my opinion about you. I didn't think you were so capable.
Oh.
My goodness, what he can do.
What
if
a
you
thing to
fix that.
say.
There you go.
That's enough.
There's a lot of salt on it.
How long do you have this oven cooked?
Oh, about 50 years.
No, that was mine.
No,
No.
I have
You
yours.
have mine. Okay.
See, everything's hers.
Wendy has mine. You have mine.
I do, I admit it.
How long I've had it now. It's an old one, but it's the best. It's the best. There's nothing that you can't go wrong.
But they're
Better
not
to the
modern,
second.
accurate recipes. You have to.
Okay, Joel, I'd say at this point, Grandma will have
Yeah.
to tell you.
Well,
Grandma,
it's ethnic.
tell
What
Joel
do I
what
do
to do next.
Let me see it. Let me see it. I think it's,
These flour.
no, it's all right. Maybe it should have one more egg. Put another egg in it.
Practiced eye. Let's see how it looks to know that you need another egg.
Well, I don't like it too thick.
I put it down to the bottom.
Oh, there they are.
And you know, I gather all kinds of other recipes that I put in here too.
Balabustas?
Yeah, you can crack it.
A Maven's nest.
Not able to use
Crap
all
walk?
of
Is your hand all worn out, Joel?
No, I can't crack cakes too big. So that,
Is his hand worn out?
no, it's that I usually
All right,
have
then
to.
mix that up good. And be sure these pans are buttered good. They need a lot of butter because I don't want them to stick.
Well, Ruthie buttered the pans.
So I'll get the blame.
If they stick, you'll.
You
No,
see
who
there,
follow
the
Now, look,
exact
you're
measurements,
having an
but
awful
they
lot
are
on this,
ethnic
on this
things.
video. You're gonna have the life story. See, my whole life story is on there. Good. So anyhow, the next 30 years when I was raising my kids, that was really interesting and it was really good. It wasn't too bad. It was a little bit tough, making a living and all that sort of thing. But it wasn't too bad. Then after 60 years, after 60
The third trimester.
it started to get better. I started to make money and to have money. And life began to be a little better. And thank goodness to this day, it's not too bad.
You're in your fourth trimester now.
No, the third. Oh, I'm on the
No,
fourth. Yes,
that's
I'm on
right.
the fourth. But listen.
You're 92, 93.
I don't want this kind of a life.
You don't want another 30 years.
No, I don't want to live like this at all. I would just as soon finish it. I don't want
But look, you would miss all this fun.
I don't want to live like this. I want to
When
be
you say like this, you mean just sitting around that you
sitting
can't do
around
things.
and have to have somebody take me home, bring me back, pick me up, do this, that. I can't. I hate that.
Mom, I'd like somebody to pick me up and
I
take
hate
me.
that. I hate that, Ellen.
But you never
Or
did
somebody
drive
else.
or get around yourself that
Oh, I
much.
did drive. I had a car and I drove.
I never saw you drive.
I never saw myself drive. I was rotten. Oh, here now, finish it. You gotta fill them.
Why didn't you ever drive, Grandma?
Well, I'll tell you something. First of all, my eyesight wasn't good for many years, you know. And I didn't have a car about two-thirds,
Well, let's see how you're doing this.
Is that?
A little more than that.
So your eyesight was bad in what way?
Well, my
Oh, you can
eyesight,
fill them more than that.
my eyesight
That's
from
good.
the time I
And don't
was
smash it.
18, I wore glasses. And it wasn't too bad, but I don't know, and after I didn't drive till after I was 60 or more than that. Because we had one car and they
Is this
would
how they do
take
it on
the car
TV?
to the store and that was it. And
Well,
he,
how about during that time? Why didn't you drive during that time?
well, he had a car and he drove. And I could never, and I tried to learn to drive one time, and we had Milton in the back seat, and I was learning to drive, and he cried and carried on terribly. He didn't like it,
See, it's all Milton's fault. He's bad too.
and so I said, and whoever was teaching me said I couldn't learn. So I didn't, I thought, the heck with it, I can't. So Nick said, what do you care? I drive, and he liked to drive, and he took us everywhere, and so that's how we went. And we only had the one car anyway. So I didn't learn to drive.
It never came up that you wanted to go someplace and he didn't want to take you.
Always. He never wanted to take me where I wanted to go. But anyhow,
Well,
I didn't drive.
that'd be the first reason to learn to drive.
Yeah, but I didn't have the car.
Oh, so you get a car.
He had the car.
How much did a car cost in those days?
Well, $700.
Yeah,
My first
$700.
car was $700.
$700 is
My
what a
first
car.
car, what was it, a Plymouth or a Ford?
The
The one you
that-
bought me in
oh,
college was $700.
No,
No.
that was never 7 because what I bought you it was a used car. It couldn't have been 700.
I think it was 300 or 400.
Something like that, you know. And so that wasn't very good. But anyway, I didn't learn to drive till, maybe, I don't know. I was about 60 or 65 when I learned.
And then you really didn't learn.
Then I had a car, and we had 2 cars.
Oh, really?
And yes, we had 2 cars, and I learned to drive. I had a driver's license, and I passed the test, and I was never sure because my vision, I was afraid that I couldn't see properly. And every time I went out, I was worried, and I was afraid. I was not secure. I didn't feel secure. And so, but I did drive. I drove to Wilmerding, and I drove wherever I could if under stress. And then I was in an accident.
Okay. Pop them in the oven.
Are they all in?
Now, can they take more? Because you've got a lot more stuff left.
Oh, do I?
No, you don't. Not a lot.
Well, wait a minute.
Divide it up, add more.
Ruth, do you think that's too full at the top there?
You could, there's some little tin
Oh,
pans
I
in
have
there.
other
You could
pans
put one
here.
in.
I'd love some other pans. Let's see what we have.
Put them in one of those tin ones. be good.
But do they have holes
They'll
in the
fall
bottom?
over. No, they're no good. They're no good.
Stick them
You
on a
hold it to
baking
the
pan.
light. You hold it to the light. If you see light through it, it's
No,
got a
they're no
hole.
good. Listen, let's use new ones, Ruth. I have in there oblong ones, oblong. One little oblong pan will do the whole business. How much more do you have? How much stuff?
No, for one pan.
For what?
Here's,
Oh, yeah, one of those little oblong pans. That's right. Let's use one of those.
Good, I can take that little bit left home
But
to
put
have
lots
for...
of butter in it. Put lots of butter in it.
Also, Grandma wants a little pat of butter on top of each little muffin.
That's right, I think so.
That's,
What are you looking for, Alan?
I just got the foil out.
The what?
Let's get the pan out.
Well, he has to put butter in it. Does he have the butter? Lots of butter.
That,
Let's say you were in an accident.
Well, we used to go to Wilmerding where did we? For dresses up to Johnstown. We used to go to Johnstown every Monday, once a week.
okay, Artley.
Yeah, to Kay Artley to get dresses. So, but we would drive in Milton's car, you know. And
Why in
so,
Milton's car?
why in Milton's car?
You mean in Nick's car?
in Nick's car, for God's sake, I'm getting mixed up. See that? That's what it is. So we used to go once a week to Johnstown to pick up dresses. And so one day we were coming back from Johnstown, and Nick was driving, and I was on the other side. I was on one side. And we passed one of the places there. A guy was coming out through a side street, and he hit us. He hit us. It was right near Ligonier somewhere, near Latrobe. And he hit us, and I was the one who got hurt. My leg got broken.
I have a picture of you with your arm in a sling.
My arm on it,
purple
that's
sling.
different. But my leg was broken, and I was in the hospital in Latrobe.
Well, this was much later. I remember this.
Yeah, I remember it.
Oh, it was when Lynn went to college.
Right,
Yeah.
I thought you were, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
was much
See, I was supposed to go with Ruth
You weren't
to...
driving then.
No, I wasn't. I was driving. I didn't
you
drive
weren't
that
driving.
day. Not that day.
But
you
it was
were-
in the
that
era
the
when
time-
she drove.
Really? I never remember you driving.
I don't either.
Anyhow, listen, I never drove too much. I did have the car, and I drove to Wilmerding.
Did Nick teach you to drive?
No, I had a teacher, and I passed the test, but I never felt secure. I never felt like I was sure.
So
Tell
this-
them about how you were driving home from Wilmerding on the Parkway at
Oh.
5 miles an hour.
No. I think in the, well, I don't know which shell.
It browns better on the top.
Oh, I put on the top.
Did you put the butter on top?
Wait, one more, Joel.
One
Stick
more
the other one
goes
in.
That's it.
Did you put a pat of butter on the top of each one?
No,
No, look at that. It's a shame.
that's okay. We'll edit this part out later.
Mama, tell them how you were driving home from Wilmerding on the Parkway.
Oh, well,
And
you
the
know, I
police was
used to drive the car to Wilmerding, see, and we both came home together. Of course, he had his car and I had mine. So he would be driving and then I would follow him. So I was on the Parkway this one time, and the Parkway's fast. And I wasn't that fast, and I was scared to death. And I was really scared to death. And one of the troopers said he noticed that I was scared, and he stopped me on the Parkway.
That must have scared me.
And he said to me, I want to see your driver's license. Well, I did have a driver's license, but I said to him, you know, I really am scared because this is fast for me. He says, well, this is no place for you to drive.
Well, wait, was this the first time you had driven
Not
on
the first
Parkway?
time, no.
Just-
Maybe it was. No, I'm not sure. Maybe it was. After that, I
Wait till
never...
you get them all done, Joe.
After that, I never went on the Parkway with the car. See? And that's how my driving was. I never felt secure about the driving.
Florence Rosenberg would appreciate that, Mom. She's having the same
Well,
problem.
then you see, after that, I didn't take the car to Wilmerding very often. And if I did, I drove through Wilkinsburg. I didn't go on the Parkway. But it was such a chore to me. But when I went this time and we had the accident and my leg was broken, I said to Nick, I'm not going to drive the car after this. I don't want to. It wasn't my fault that the accident
just
happened.
scared you.
But at the same time, I just felt insecure about it. So I didn't drive anymore after that. And the car he was driving was a rotten old car. I had the best car. And so he sold his car, and we only had the one car again. And I didn't care, because I didn't want to drive, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the driving. So I stopped driving, and I said to him, well, what if I have to sometime? He says, well, you'll take a refresher course, and you'll go over it again, but I never did. And thank goodness he drove till he was 80. And after he had the heart attack, they didn't want him to drive. The doctor didn't want him to drive. And so he stopped driving, which was very bad for him because he loved the driving. And so...
But by then my parents lived close by.
Yes, it's true. Your parents lived close by.
I used to drive them out to Penn Center to the cafeteria for the dinner.
Now how long are you going to leave that stuff in the oven?
Well, it says here 15 minutes, but I'm going to leave it until it's brown.
Okay, and when it's brown, we'll take it out and
Eat it.
I'll break my fast.
And we'll eat it. Me too.
Okay.
Me too. We'll eat it when it's done.
I didn't put the date on this. Today's Yom Kippur, 1987, 57:48. Right?
Right, you're right.
Tishrei.
October the 3rd.
Where's that calendar?
October the 3rd. There's a Jewish calendar over there.
Yeah, it's Tishrei 10.
Okay.
Good. Good Tishrei.
And it's Grandma's fourth trimester.
That's right.
Am I allowed to put the stuff in the dishwasher?
Oh yes, everything goes in the dishwasher.
So, Grandma, after the kids left home, you worked with Grandpa in the store every night, and would you go out to dinner then every night?
Oh yes.
Then you didn't cook.
After the kids all left home, and we had nobody home, I was in the store every day. I went to New York to do buying once a month. And
You
that
flew
was,
or you drove?
I flew and I went by train sometimes. And I went once a month and I bought closeouts and samples and off-price merchandise. And I brought it back. And when I came back with it, I called my girls would call my customers, and they thought I bought the stuff special for them, and they came, and they bought because it was bargains. It was everything I sold was a bargain. I bought bargains and I sold them for bargains. And Milton says, Mother, you have the right idea. You buy cheap and sell dear. And that was true. And I made a nice...
What were your ends in the trade in New York?
From only through Buddy. My ins in New York were Buddy. I will say that he helped me tremendously. Tremendously. Because he would talk to all these manufacturers that he was associating with. Because he was in Mo's office, you know. And he would talk to
Mo
these...
had an office in New York.
Mo had, yes, that was his main office in New
I
York.
didn't know that.
Oh, yes. And that's where Buddy was. And Buddy would contact these people and say, my mother's coming, she wants bargains. You have to save her closeouts and bargains. And that's what I bought. And brought them back, and I made a lot of money that way. And then we started to have money.
Well, give me an example. How much would a closeout dress cost?
Well, I tell you, when I bought most samples, they were samples. They were all one size. I paid him $2.50 for a dress. And the regular price of the dress was probably $5.75 or something like that. Well, I sold them for $5.75 or $5.95, which was 100% profit. See? And that was a good thing. And my customers knew that it was a bargain. And the dresses were the kind that school teachers dressed in. And my main clients, my main customers were school teachers. So the school teachers would wear the dress and go to a meeting, and they'd say, "Where'd you get that dress?" Well, that's where they got the dress. And they used to come from all over Pennsylvania, Wendy, all distances, in cars, a load, teachers. And they wouldn't buy one dress. They'd buy 7 dresses because they wanted a new dress every day. And they could do that at my prices. And I made money. That's when I started.
They were nice dresses.
They were lovely dresses. I can show you. I still have them. They were nice. You know, some of Mo's dresses, I wouldn't give them away. And that's the kind of dresses they were. And people said to me after I went out of business, "Oh, for goodness sake, where are we going to get those kind of dresses?" And then, of course, I bought knitwear in New York, closeouts also, and odd lots that they had, but they didn't have every size. Half price. And I sold them underpriced, and they were big bargains. I had the first bargain store.
First discount store.
First discount store, really. And then that's how I made money.
And your dad took care, and your father took care of the advertising for it.
Oh, listen, I explained that to Lynn when Lynn was here. I was telling her
I never
my
heard
whole
about that.
life's history, you see. When I first started to go into the store like this with the dresses, we used to have a little store first of all, you know, where we had just shoes and men's stuff. But when I went, Nick was very friendly with the Volpes, and they had a big store across the street. They said to him, "Move into my store across the street."
What did they sell?
They didn't sell anything. They said they owned the building.
Oh.
They only killed people. So anyhow,
They did other things that were bad too, Mom.
oh, they did
Drugs or something.
everything
Or
bad.
were they into drugs and prostitution? Classic mafia stuff.
They were in the
White
numbers,
beaters.
numbered business.
White beaters.
Oh,
Yeah.
all
Well, that doesn't make a lot of money, right?
No, they did beat their wives, but that's nothing.
What do you mean that's nothing?
That didn't make any money. But anyhow, they owned the building, and they said to us, "Move into this building over here, and then they'll have a big store and everything." So we did. We moved across the street into this big building, and we had a bigger store, and it was better. And then I got the dress business from Mo. Gave me his samples, and we started in the dress business. So I said, "Well, how am I going to advertise and tell people I have this stuff?" So Sammy said to me,
When was this now?
"This was when was this?"
After the flood, when you did it.
Oh, that was before the
Before
flood.
the flood?
Oh, yes. That
In the
was,
30s sometime.
It was early. Well,
Not
it
in the
was,
30s.
no, it was
40s.
in the 30s or maybe 40s.
After we came back from California, after
Oh,
the war,
this,
after Wendy was born.
oh, listen, sure. Anyhow, Sam said to me, "Listen, you have to get some postcards. And you have to write on the postcards that I have specials, I have dresses at these cheap prices, and I want you to come and see, and just a postcard, and get the names out of the telephone book in Wilmerding." And I did that. And the people came, and that was my advertising. Well, it was great, you know, people came, Wilmerding, that was out of, nobody
How many
knew
people
where,
lived in Wilmerding?
nobody knew where Wilmerding was. I didn't know where Wilmerding was till I moved there. And people came from so then I continued.
Well, wait,
And
how did people come from outside of Wilmerding?
now, I tell you, I was just telling her that I used to sell these dresses, just mostly school teacher
How
type.
did they find out?
And the school teachers would go to a meeting and they'd say, "Where'd you get that dress?" And it was cheap, see? And they was to come in carloads from West Virginia.
So it was word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth. From West Virginia. And by the time they came, I got a mailing list. I took everybody's name and I had a mailing list. And I had a big
Just
mailing
think if
list.
they'd had computers then, what you
And-
could have done.
And you got to know them personally, so you knew their sizes and.
Well, then anyhow, I had the mailing list. And so I used to go to New York every month, and Buddy helped me, told me where to buy and how to buy, and helped me to buy and how to sell. And I had this mailing list, and when I'd come back, my girls would either call or we would write to these people that I had on the mailing list. They would come because it really was bargains. It was a bargain. And that's how I made money. Well, after I had a little money, Milton got married in 54, 56. When did Milton? 56. Milton got married in 56. See, that I
Turn the
know.
light on in there.
Oh, is there a light on?
No, I said, isn't that right on the door, isn't it?
Well, if there's a light on, it
Doesn't
it's
it
shut
work?
good.
Oh, I thought it worked. Yeah, that's what I mean.
She doesn't know how it works.
There you go.
Oh,
She never knew
I
it
just want to
worked.
watch them.
I never put it on. I opened the door and then I
Which this is better, you don't have to open the
That's
door.
right. Well, then listen.
Oh, it
isn't
smells
that-
wonderful.
Leave it on, Mom.
We're gonna eat.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're gonna eat when it's done.
Okay.
So, Ruth, sit down, please, huh? There's lots of chairs.
I was sitting.
No, here, there's another
Anyway,
chair.
when Milt got married,
When Milt got married, Aberman liked him very much. Aberman was the best real estate man in the city of Pittsburgh. He owned all Squirrel Hill. Every one of these big buildings that you see, they were all Abermans. And he was a big real estate man. And he had money. And he liked Milton, and he wanted Milton to come into the business with him. And Milton said, "Oh no," he says, "I can't do that. That's a different story." He said, "I can't. I have to be my own boss." And Aberman was a very exacting person. If you worked for him, you had to be perfect or else. So, of course, he wouldn't do it. But he liked Milton, and he said to me, "You got any money? If you got money, I'll invest with me." I said, "Okay." We had a little money. The first money that I had, I took it to him, and he invested it for me. And it was great. The investment was good. Everything he touched turned to gold. So then I started to have money. And from one thing and another, my investments with him were terrific. Just terrific. That was the best thing I ever had. And I got money and I made money, and things went better for me. So thank God today I'm living on what he invested for me. That's the truth.
Grandma, would you be willing to take me for a little stroll around your house?
Take what?
Take a little walk around your house?
What for?
Just to see what there is. Look around.
Look around the house?
Yeah.
I know what there is around the house. What do you want?
Look
me
at pictures and...
She wants you to talk about things. Show her.
around the house? Oh, in the house. You mean in the house, not outside?
No, not outside, in the house.
Oh, in the house, yes.
Around in the house.
In the house. Well, wait a minute. I want to show you here. You see, this picture right here is the picture of, I've got tenants upstairs, and they want to take the picture, but that's Cynthia's office in Washington. The first picture on top. It's Cynthia's office.
It's in the New York Times, though?
It was in New York Times. You see where it's pointing? That's her office in Washington.
Uh-huh, okay.
Cynthia's office.
so she's gentry.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what's the other?
The one underneath, I got tenants upstairs that moved in here 3 years ago. So they were just getting married. And they said to me, "We're going to Montreal for our honeymoon." And I said, "Montreal?" I said, "That's where I was married. That's where I lived."
This was Quebec, Mom.
So they said to me,
Yeah, Montreal's
"And
in
we're
Quebec."
going to Quebec on our honeymoon. We're going to stay in the Chateau Frontenac. That's where the Queen stayed." I said, "That's where I stayed on my honeymoon." I got married in Montreal. We went in a boat up the St. Lawrence,
Spent all your
and
money.
we went to the Chateau Frontenac, and that's where we stayed. on
So your
our
money
honeymoon.
ran out, right?
Well, my husband had $50. What do
Yeah.
you mean?
Well, didn't you spend it all there?
Well,
That was the
I'll
story
tell you, he
last
said to me, "You know what this room costs? $750 this room costs." How do
Okay,
you
Joel's
like
gonna be
that?
my...
Boy.
Alan, you help Grandma, and Joel's gonna carry my equipment.
So wait
Right.
a minute, so listen, so when these people moved in here, you know, this young couple, and they were getting married, and they were going to Chateau Frontenac for their honeymoon, I said to them, "That's where I went." So they went there, and they came back and brought me the picture. And I said to them, "How much did you pay for the room?" They paid $125 for the room, and we paid $750.
And it was
Yeah,
just as
yeah,
dear
right.
then, probably.
There you are. So that's what that picture is.
Great.
Now, what else you want me to tell you, Wendy?
Oh, I don't know. Just walk around and tell me whatever you want.
Now, anyhow, of course, listen.
Boy, it smells great in here.
Listen, I like living in this house, Wendy.
I remember when you moved here.
I have
real
enjoyed living
badly.
in this house, and I hope I'll live here till I die. Because that's all I want. I don't want to
I hope you're not going to move, Grandma, because I don't feel like doing
I don't
it.
want to move anyplace. I want to stay here.
You're talking about the store, so I was wondering, how long did Connie work for you?
Connie worked for me for 40 years, I think. You
That's
know,
what
we
I
had
asked.
that store in Wilmerding. Alan, you know what? You won my respect.
Well, Grandma, that's terrible you didn't respect him before.
No, I
Because
didn't think he could do things like that. I think it's
I knew
wonderful.
he could. You should have asked me.
I think it's wonderful that he fixed my mixer. Oh gosh, Alan, you should have been here long ago.
I should charge $40 an hour, huh?
Then she'd respect you.
So
Let's go in the other room.
So anyhow, so what was I going to tell you?
So Connie worked for you for 40 years?
40 years. Connie came. She was a young girl, and she started to work for
Was
us.
she local? Did she live in
She
Warren?
lived in Wilmerding, yes. She lived in Wilmerding, and she was a very nice girl, and she was a smart girl. And she worked for me for 40 years. Well, we were in Wilmerding, how many years, Ruth? 40 years or more?
Oh, more than 40.
Well, how long after you opened? did
When
you
Wendy was born, you were still in Wilmerding. When did you leave Wilmerding? Oh, well, what do you mean?
When we
Dad-
left, I left Wilmerding in '69.
All right.
That I know. But we were there at
Daddy
least-
retired when they tore the building down.
Well,
and
that's when he
couldn't
was 80.
relocate.
That was in '69, Ruth. We
Okay.
left Wilmerding in '69.
Well, when did you?
But when did we go to Wilmerding? We went to Wilmerding, before Milton was born.
All right. You
Milton
know,
and Buddy were born in Wilmerding. That was in 1925.
and we lived before that in Forest Hills when I was little,
Then
before
you
I
were
went to
6 years
school,
old,
and you
yes.
were already in Wilmerding.
When you were 6 years old, we had the store in Wilmerding, and we lived in Forest Hills. And then we moved to Wilmerding.
All right.
And you
And
went to school in
The
Wilmerding.
pictures of Grandma in that beautiful brown dress with the beading was taken on Sprague Street in Wilmerding in front of our house there. And I'm in the picture and the two boys. Now, Buddy was very little.
I can't remember that. But you see, that dress was bought
Here, you
when
wanna sit?
that dress was bought when Florence Heidewitz's mother got married.
We were wondering what the occasion was. She was showing me the dress last
And that's
night.
what you bought that gorgeous
I
dress
bought
for.
the dress for the wedding.
Whoever Florence Heidewitz
Florence
is.
Heidewitz's
she's a
mother.
Now,
And
wait
she
a
was
minute.
Regina, what was their last name? Stahlberg?
Stahlberg.
Regina Stahlberg.
They have a daughter that was, that you at one time knew. You had two daughters. Florence had two daughters. The grandmother is the one whose wedding she went to.
Yes.
And Florence's two daughters were about the ages of you and Lynn, and one time we visited them. They're like second cousins, third cousins.
Yes, something.
I have no recollection.
My mother's
of that.
relations. They were my mother's relations. That's who Florence. So this girl, she married Stahlberg. My mother made the wedding because they didn't have any people here. My mother brought him over. He was my mother's cousin's son. And he brought her over, and she had nobody here. This Regina. And this wedding, my mother made the wedding. And I bought that dress in Kaufman's.
How much did it cost?
$60.
$60.
Every bead sewn on by hand.
$60 in Kaufman's. And that's what I wore to the wedding. And
Where'd you buy all your artwork, Grandma, that's on the walls?
the artwork, these pictures, this picture, I bought a couple of pictures many years ago, when we lived on,
For example, I always remember that one.
That's
Where
a
is it? In
beautiful one.
Holland or someplace? The
well,
one at
see, when did I buy those pictures, Ruth? Did I buy them when I
When-
moved to Beechwood Boulevard?
That's right, and this one for the dining room.
No, and I had two of them. Then we moved from Beechwood Boulevard to this place, and the movers tore that picture.
All right, but Mom,
And then you had it replaced. You got
I
a,
fixed it.
no,
Oh,
you
it's-
bought a new picture.
It's patched on the back.
You bought a new picture?
Didn't you buy those from Gilbert Furniture?
I think so. But Ruth, you bought a new picture and put it in the frame. The picture was torn by the movers.
That's what I told you.
No, Ruth, you bought that, that's a painting that somebody did. You bought it in Mount Lebanon. Yes.
Okay, she remembers.
Oh,
don't.
Ruth, I remember.
I don't remember.
I remember. You bought it and put it in the frame for me. And this picture over here, Milton, Bud and Nat brought me from Spain.
Which one's that?
This one, the middle one. They brought me that picture from Spit, and I have it framed. It's a painting. And of course, my husband, he only liked pictures and art. And wherever we went, when we went anywhere, he was looking for pictures to buy. And antiques, things like that, that's what he liked. And so we bought that one in Atlantic City. I bought a couple some other places. But that was it. And all this furniture I bought from, who did I buy it from, Ruth? Gilbert's. All bought from Gilbert's. And I've had it done over and reupholstered. But you see this frame, you can't buy that today. And the furniture man said to me, this is priceless. You can't buy a frame like this. And they don't make them like this.
Hand carved.
Hand carved. So that's it.
Hand carved? Where was it hand carved?
Here, right here. It's all hand carved.
I know, but I mean, where was it made?
I don't know that. Probably Italy.
I was going to say, Americans don't do that, do they?
So that's it.
And over there, that's the card table. You guys played cards every Saturday night?
On this card, Ruth and the children bought me that for an anniversary present. The card table and chairs.
They played cards every Saturday night with
Every
friends.
Saturday night I
And
played
Grandpa looked in the
Ruth.
mirror and saw what the other guy
no,
had.
No, you couldn't see in the mirror what they were doing. But they bought me that, I think, for my 50th wedding anniversary.
We used to give you canasta equipment all the time for presents.
Yeah?
Card shufflers.
Yeah, that's right. I have card shufflers and cards and all kinds of things, see. So that's it.
Now, all of those pillows are made by Mom.
Yeah, I made everything, all these pillows.
Yeah, you did a lot of needlework in your
Oh,
day,
I did
didn't
all
you?
the needlework. I made those rugs.
Let's see. We're standing on one.
I made those rugs. I made that big rug. That was
Right, I
my
remember when you were making that real
latest-
recently.
My latest.
Did you make the cover for the footstool, purple?
Yes.
Oh, did you?
Oh, no. Oh, no, that was made by the upholsterer. The
Yeah.
upholsterer.
Oh, not the one that you're using, but this other one, the purple one.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, the footstool, yes, I made that. I made that footstool. Any of the handwork around here, I made. And then, of course, I made a lot of sweaters and stuff like that.
Did you ever figure out who sent you the picture, the curved frame?
The what?
The picture in the curved frame, and you couldn't figure out where it came from?
Oops, sorry.
Yes, Cynthia sent it to me.
Okay.
She told me, she sent it to me months ago, she said. And she got one for herself and one for me, and then she forgot about it. Yes, it was from Cynthia.
Do you want to show her things in the back of the house that?
I don't know, what should I show you back there? I don't know that. There's nothing real good back there.
Photographs.
Only photographs, that's all. Oh, those photographs are wonderful. The pictures, I have a lot of beautiful pictures.
Mama, how brown do you want those pancakes to get?
Brown. They have to be brown. Done. I like everything done. I don't want it half raw. But you know, Ruth, I'm not a bit hungry.
Well, we don't have to eat them all.
I have plenty of, I'm not hungry. I could just go along like this. And I think when my girl's here, she gives me that breakfast in the morning, I'm not ready for it. Well, what do you say? No,
A little more.
I think so.
Let me see.
Oh, look, it looks nice. They're gonna be
done around
edible.
the edges.
They're going to be edible. They're brown around the edges?
Yeah, you get the middle done a little more.
Okay. Because Mom wants to go to services probably 3:30, right?
Do you, Ruth?
Oh, absolutely.
So I want to be able to be done by then.
And when are you going home?
When she gets ready to go back to services.
Oh, yeah. Listen, you're staying a long time. You don't usually stay this long.
I just want to go home before dark.
Wendy, you said you wanted some beads. Do you want some beads? I'll show you.
Yeah, a couple. I could
Show
use
you
a
my
couple.
beads. You can have anything you want. See, Wendy, I made these pictures too back here. You see these things?
The embroidery.
Yeah, those embroidered pictures I made.
But you say you can't do that anymore because your eyes aren't. But
my
that's just
eyes-
like the one my mother has, isn't it?
Yeah, I made one for her. And then
How long did it take you to make that?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know. But you see, I could do those things. But today I can't do anything. My eyes aren't good enough. I can't do it anymore. Alan, would you like this cat picture for your kids?
You don't want that? You
It's
want
a-
that in playing bingo?
Yeah, this is a clock.
Yeah, I know.
If you'd like it for your kids, you can have it.
Or for your lab, perhaps.
Yeah, that's.
Mr. Cat.
What did I want to show you back here?
Beads.
Oh, beads. Okay, come on. See, Wendy, of course, these pictures to me are priceless.
Yeah, I think I was going to take a picture.
See, these are priceless to me. Look at your mother's, the picture of your mother. Isn't that gorgeous? I have the window open here. And those two boys.
Yeah, they're all nice. If I can get that in focus.
That was when I graduated from college.
No, from high school. You were only 13 there. You were only a little girl.
I don't believe it.
And this, of course, you know, you have this picture of me.
Mm-hmm. And that's when you were how old?
Well, this was when I got married. 1917. 1917. I think I was, what, 21, 22, something like that? That's it. And these are pictures of the boys.
Well, that's Milton Bud right there. Oh, I can't. It's too much glare.
There's a glare, huh?
Yeah.
For your next birthday, we'll get you a video.
No, no. It's too late, Ruth. Too late. I don't need anything anymore.
Okay. So the beads. This
Now,
is,
those are the pictures you see. Those are the.
What? Do you know what year they were from?
You mean these of the?
Of you and Grandpa?
Oh, I don't know what year that was. How old are the kids? You can
No,
tell.
not with all the kids. This the
Oh,
individual
that-
ones.
Yeah. Well, these two are when we were married.
Oh,
Those single pictures are when we were married. And those, when we used to go to Atlantic City every year, we got our pictures taken.
Mama, Wendy said she can't imagine that you danced, and I was trying to show her how you did the
Black
castle
bottom.
walk. No, you used to do you and Daddy used to dance in the living room doing the
I used to
castle
cry.
walk.
She used to cry when we used to dance. She didn't want us to dance, and I slapped her.
you did a
Remember
lot
the
of
time
physical
you put the
violence
hat
to
on
your
the-
kids.
She put the head on the what was it, a figure?
Velvet, just,
No,
a marble statue.
a marble statue in Fanny's house. Fanny had a marble statue standing on a pedestal. She insisted she wanted to put the hat on it. I said, leave that statue alone. She had to put the hat on. She broke the statue. Well, then she did get it.
Boy, I haven't forgotten that. I still hurt.
I'm telling you. So that's how it is. Well, okay, so you
Did you
took all the
see this,
pictures.
Wendy?
Yeah.
Ruth, this picture, do you have that picture of yourself? That's
I have
adorable.
it in an album.
That's adorable. Now listen, I'll show you my beads. They're right in the drawer here. That's my
There's nice
diploma-
pictures in here too.
diploma from high school.
There's my dad
Oh, yes. It's your dad.
and Nancy and Johnny.
And there you are, Wendy, on that picture with me and with
Fanny.
Fanny.
Oh yeah, I'm doing the one of Mom that's above it first. That's awfully nice. When she was real young.
Yeah, you must have pictures of your father, you know, when he was old.
I don't have a picture of my father. This is William. He was about 74.
I wonder why I never knew him. 'Cause he was dead before I was born.
I remember Grandpa Siegel.
Yeah, I remember Grandpa Siegel. We're talking about Nick's father.
But you don't have many pictures of him.
Of Siegel.
Yeah.
No, I don't have many. Let me see. Where do I have pictures of my father?
You
See,
think
and
that
this-
they're being colored
This
in
is
making
Nick's
movies?
grandmother and his sister and his brother on that picture.
Alex is the one sitting down
Alex.
Yes.
Yes.
with the
yes.
mustache.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Homestead High School.
Yeah, Homestead High School.
Is it still there?
I don't know if it is.
And what year was that?
It was on 19, what year was that?
Can you see it?
What is this? June 3rd, 1913.
13? College was very unusual. I was the first one in my family to go to college, because that was expensive.
How did they afford to send you?
It was the limit. Believe me, they made sacrifices. They made sacrifices to send me to college, and I appreciate it. My parents made sacrifices for me, and they were wonderful.
And your sisters didn't resent it that you got to go?
My sisters, well, one was 5 years older, and one was 7 years older. What do you mean they didn't?
They didn't resent that you got to go and they didn't.
How could they resent? They were already.
Already doing things. How about Mo? Did he go to college?
Mo graduated a couple years. Mo was 3 years younger than me, and he graduated 3 years later, I guess. And he was supposed to go to college, but the war broke out or something. And he got a job in the mill, in the
Steel.
steel mill
In Homestead.
in Homestead, and that's why he didn't go to college.
I didn't know Jewish guys did that.
Not many. Not very many. But that was an opportunity. They made big money. So, that's how life went.
When you were in school, did you have any kind of discrimination against you because you were Jewish?
Oh, no.
Never.
Not in Homestead. We had a big population. No, there was no discrimination. There was a sort of a little discrimination when I went for a job. I had to meet with the directors. You know, you had to see the board of directors.
You still do.
Before you could get the,
You still do.
and believe me, that irritated me more than anything, because they were drunk.
How do you know?
I could smell the liquor. I was, how old? I was 19. I was 19 when I got my first job. And I could smell the liquor, and I didn't like those men that I
It
had
was all men.
to cater to, yeah. But you see, my first job, I was supposed to be a substitute in Homestead, just do substituting.
Had
But
you
they-
done student teaching?
I had done no student teaching. I went to University of Pittsburgh, you know, and it was a special course, and I did all kinds
For
of
elementary?
elementary. And so after I was supposed to be a substitute in Homestead, they needed a teacher in Carnegie badly. And so they asked me if I would take it. Well, Carnegie, from me, I lived in Homestead. To go from Homestead to Carnegie was a big trip, but I took it. I took the job for a year, and it was a good job. I had good surroundings, and I had a good job. And it was an old-fashioned school.
What kind of pay did you get?
$50 a month. $50 a month, and I taught third grade, I think it was.
Did they tell you what the curriculum would be, or did you make it up?
No, they gave me a curriculum to follow, and I had a very nice principal. It was a man principal, and when the holiday came, the Jewish holiday, said I have to be off today. He said, "Are you Jewish?" He didn't know I was Jewish, but of course I had the job anyhow. I was the only Jewish teacher there. And of course I associated with all these girls. I have a picture of the school teachers and me. We were all with the long skirts and blouses, you know. And they all were nice to me. They were all no Jews. And there were no Jews in the neighborhood. There were no Jewish students. But he was surprised that I was Jewish. But of course I only worked there 1 year because it was a long trip for me to
And
go
then you
there.
got a better job.
Then I got a job closer to home. I think I got $60 a month then. I got a job in Homeville, that's right up above Homestead. And I taught there for 2 or 3 years, and then I got married. And after you got married in those days, you couldn't teach. They didn't have married school teachers. So I lost my job right away, see. Of course, listen, I lived in Montreal anyhow. And I couldn't work in Montreal because I couldn't speak French. If I wanted to get a job in a department store or something, I couldn't get the job because I couldn't speak French. So that was my life in Montreal, and I lived there till Ruthie was born. After Ruthie was born, I said, I can't take this any longer. And I wasn't well, and the baby wasn't well. So we came back to Pittsburgh, and that was it.
Let's go eat.
That was it.
Let's go eat.
Isn't that awful? Okay, do you have plates out?
Yeah, you want to sit here?
And dishes? Wait.
Can you teach me to take it so that you can be in it? Because I'm not gonna eat that.
Oh, isn't that
Well, good yontif, Grandma, and thank you very much for cooperating in this venture.
Listen,
And you too, Joel. Thank you for...
He did all
sit down, Ellen. It's good.
It's delicious.
Uh-huh.
What do you think, Grandma?
It's good. Very good.
Just like Grandma made.
What could be bad about it? It couldn't be bad.
Well, did you eat this kind of stuff when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah, my mother, I'll tell you, you see, my parents cooked a lot of
I get you
potatoes.
in it, Alan. I get you in it.
Everything made out of potatoes. And that's what we, you know,
Maybe you can teach me how to do ceramics. I can teach you how to do
as far as
Focus is up here. And you
as
can
the
zoom.
eating is concerned, I could
These
have
two
gone
buttons
longer
where your forefinger is.
without eating.
You can zoom and you're zooming it out.
You want in? I tell you what, I'll move around.
Here, pull a table out so that you'll bring it.
Where do I zoom, Wendy?
Where your fingers are down here.
One for in and one for
That's that, and on the other side, push this way.
Okay, that's good.
Oops, uh-oh.
That's an empty bottle.
These are all empty. What are you doing here, Grandma?
A lot of them are empty. Alan, you want to help yourself?
No, that's right.
Hmm? You
Delicious.
sure?
Delicious.
Alan, there's a plate and a fork for you.
Very good recipe.
Are you fasting, Alan?
Yeah, I'll wait.
I could have waited too. I didn't have to eat this now.
Oh, but it smells so good.
Ooh, it tastes so
Okay. You So take the rest of them with you, Ruth, down to the house, and everybody will eat them later.
I'll take one home for each of my kids.
Yeah, that's right, take
You
them home.
take the,
Oh, yeah, I'll take the foil can one.
Take the-
Sammy went to the doctor and was recuperating, I guess.
Well, take the
I
rest
was
of
gonna
them,
take them some treats, so I'll take them this.
take them that, and take some down for everybody to taste down at the house. Oh,
Are you
there's
gonna
nobody else there, only Ruth. That's right. So you take
Okay.
Wendy, I have something back here I want to give.